Hello everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is April 24th, 2025, and La Liga have announced a new financial fair play rule. Also, we now know when Ter Stegen is set to officially come back. And finally, we now also know how much money a certain Premier League club is willing to pay for Jules Kounde. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo and we'll begin this video with the news that La Liga have announced a new financial fair play rule that is set to go into effect during this summer transfer market. Now by now it's no secret that Javier Tebas is running the Spanish league into the ground with his strictest and craziest financial fair play rules in Europe, which have caused a total migration of talent away from the Spanish league, where many young up-and-coming players who came up through many of the academies in the Spanish league are now moving to other leagues because their current teams cannot register them, where big stars and big names in the sport are refusing to come to Spain because teams like Barcelona cannot guarantee their registration. And it looks like Tebas has noticed that his crazy rules are ruining La Liga, and he has decided to make up yet another new rule. And this rule states that if a team has exceeded their wage limit, in other words, if a team is outside the bounds of the financial fair play, they are still going to be allowed to make 3 signings. 2 have to be free agents, and the third one could be an actual transfer. Now, this rule will take place during this summer transfer market. And I got to say, Barcelona have been outside the financial fair play margins for the past 4 years. I guess we could have used this rule in the past, but like everything Javier Tebas does, it ends up failing miserably. We'll see how this rule plays out, but I think at this point, the common denominator is pretty clear. It's not what rule gets invented when. I think it's Javier Tebas. I think if this league really wants to be the best league in the world, it's time for a new change in the presidency. Anyways, let's move on to the next bit of news, because not only are La Liga messing things up all the time, the Royal Spanish Football Federation are not far behind in being also the clowns that they are. And because today Barcelona had to issue a statement, and this statement was in regards to that Copa del Real final. As you know, each team was allotted approximately 25,000 tickets. Barcelona had to implement a lottery system because there was so much demand for these tickets, and the winners of the lottery were then able to buy tickets for the final between Barcelona and Real Madrid. And well, the big surprise is that the Royal Spanish Football Federation started issuing the tickets today for the final, and many of the Barcelona socios and peñistas who got access to tickets received tickets in the mail with the wrong names, with the wrong contact information, with all kinds of wrong thing. And of course, when you go into the final, they are going to have to verify your ID with the ticket. If your ticket does not match your ID, you cannot go in. So this is a huge problem for many people who receive tickets with the wrong names. So Barcelona issued a statement complaining about this and even threatening legal action against the Royal Spanish Football Federation and their ticket vendor. I think they're called One Ticket or something like that, or One Box Ticket. I don't care. But anyways, there was a big mix-up. It's now been announced that it has been fixed. So now they are starting to issue correct tickets with the correct information to the correct people who paid for it. Anyway, speaking of the Copa del Rey final, guess who will be traveling with the team? It's no other than one of our captains, Marc-Andre Ter Stegen, who has been out of action since September after suffering a very serious injury to his knee where he had to undergo surgery. Of course, he has been training with the group as of late, and now it's been announced that he will be traveling with the team to Sevilla for the final of the Copa del Rey final, and it's not going to be as a supporter or as a cheerleader or whatever you want to call it. Ter Stegen is actually expected to receive the medical green light. So Ter Stegen will be traveling with the team as part of the squad, as a player, as part of the squad, because he will be declared fit, or he's expected to be declared fit during this Saturday's final. So that's, of course, a great news for the team, for Flick, for the players, and, of course, for Ter Stegen, who has had to undergo a lot to recover from this injury. Now, it's not expected that Hansi Flick will start Ter Stegen. That would be absolutely crazy to have a player who's been out for, 8 months, to start in the final. Of course, Szczesny's gonna most likely, or 99.99% will start. In the Champions League, it's also not expected that Hansi Flick will be changing the goalkeeper. However, there are reports stating that Ter Stegen could be playing in a match against Real Valladolid in La Liga. We'll see if this actually happens, but either way, I'm very ecstatic because no doubt to me, Ter Stegen is one of the best goalkeepers in Europe. And I cannot wait to see our Barcelona captain back in action. Now, on to the next bit of news, because it has been revealed how much one of the Premier League teams is willing to pay for Jules Kounde. Now, Jules Kounde is having a spectacular season, in my opinion. One of the best, if not the best, right backs in all of Europe. And this, of course, has caught the attention of many of the European giants, including Chelsea. Of course, Chelsea were very close to signing Jules Kounde back in 2022. But a call from Xabi convinced Kounde to stop the negotiation with Chelsea and come to Barcelona instead. And now Chelsea are once again interested in signing him. Liverpool, who are set to lose Trent Alexander-Arnold to Real Madrid, they have also set their sights at Jules Kounde as a replacement for Trent. And now we have a new team that has entered the race for Jules Kounde, and we know how much this team is willing to pay. And it's no other than Arteta's Arsenal. It looks like Mikel Arteta really wants Jules Kounde, and it's been leaked in English media that Arsenal would be willing to pay 65 million euros for Jules Kounde. Now, of course, Kounde is not for sale. Barcelona are not looking to offload him this summer. The player is not looking to leave. In fact, he's looking to extend his contract past its expiration of 2027. But that set aside, 65 million euros for who to me is the best right back in Europe right now. In my opinion, it's absolutely insulting. Now, speaking of fullbacks, we do have to talk about another Barcelona fullback, who is Alexbay, the Barcelona left back, who's currently on loan in the Serie A with Cesc Fabregas' team Como, where there is no option or obligation to buy, and where he is also impressing, or has at least impressed, Cesc Fabregas. And as such, Como have told the player, or have communicated to the player, that they are willing to activate his release clause during this summer transfer market because they want to keep him on a permanent transfer. Now, as I stated, the loan has no option or obligation to buy, so Como would have to either pay the release clause or negotiate with Barcelona. And again, they've told Alexbay that they want to activate the release clause, which is worth around 6 million euros. Now, Como are expected to reach out to Barcelona in the next upcoming weeks to try to get this deal through. And of course, my question to you is, do you think Barcelona should agree to this? Of course, if the player says yes, it doesn't matter what Barcelona think. All Como would have to do is pay the 6 million euros. But do you think this is a good, bad idea? Let me know down below. Now, we will end today's video with the news that the former Barcelona goalkeeper Victor Valdes, the guy who came up through La Masia, the guy who completely changed how goalkeepers handle the ball in Spain, and the guy who won 3 Champions League with Barcelona, is set to come back to coaching after 4 years of absence, as Real Avila FC have announced that they have hired Victor Valdes as their new coach for the remainder of the season, and of course for next season as well. And if you don't know, Real Avila FC are currently in 4th division in Spain. They are in the promotion spots with 2 matches left, so they could be promoted to 3rd division, where of course could technically play against Barca Athletic with Victor Valdes being their coach. So it'll be exciting to see Victor Valdes back in action. After all, he's a Barcelona legend, and it's always good to see the Barcelona legends still out there spreading their awesomeness across this beloved sport that we all love. Anyways, that is all the news for this video. We'll be uploading another video, so stay tuned to the channel. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, Visca Barça.